Hey, this is Joseph here with PMC. I serve as our real estate analyst and junior broker. Over the last couple months, I know that we have received a lot of questions regarding coronavirus, how that's impacted real estate as a whole, but also specifically real estate here in Nashville. So wanted to provide a quick update just as we've had a couple months of new normal, creating an office out of our bedroom or whatever it might be. Wanted to provide a quick update for what real estate looks like in Nashville with the coronavirus. We had previously been moving away from short-term rental properties, and what we have been seeing is more owners that are looking at moving their short-term rental properties to long-term rentals, with less people being able to travel, less people looking at getting on a plane, higher vacancy, lower nightly rates. And so because of that, it's easier for an owner to monetize their property if they move it to a long-term investment rental property. Secondly, we are starting to see that some tenants are more interested in having a little bit more space. Being crammed into smaller downtown loft apartment isn't necessarily the most appealing now, with social distancing norms being in place, not being able to get out and about as much and utilize all of that convenient access to downtown or other areas like that. If you're in a 500 square foot studio apartment, not as much fun to be kind of cooped up in there for the 4 months that we've been in quarantine. So now tenants, whether regular residential renters or some office tenants, are looking at how can we effectively use more space for social distancing while also wanting to be able to have some flexibility, get up and move, specifically with renters of having to coordinate sharing that space. A lot of renters here in Nashville have roommates. Coordinating space for working from home and other things like that has increased the appetite to have a little bit more space, shifting towards a little bit more interest in a single family home rental specifically, or looking at moving out from renting into the suburbs just to be in a place where there's more things that they can get out and do and walk, rather than all the attractions and things like that, specifically in the downtown area, haven't been as accessible or as available. And then lastly, we're still in a transitional period of uncertainty. Unemployment benefits expired here at the end of July, and so that really had been serving kind of as a life preserver for a lot of tenants making rent payments. And so rent payments still had been really, really strong, very little difference and a year-over-year difference. But now with those having expired and Congress deliberating and uncertain what the timeline is, if and when those revised benefits will come online, could start to see a little bit of slip in rental rates, as well as potentially more evictions taking place. And so property owners potentially starting to feel the hurt a little bit more than previously had been felt due to the Federal Reserve's unprecedented amount of support for the economy, and specifically helping prop up those tenants that might have otherwise been struggling to find a way to pay rent. One thing that we are also seeing is in areas where there's increased supply for apartments, predominantly in downtown and in Williamson County. Some of those areas where there's increased supply, there's been a little bit of slackening in rental rates as well as vacancy, just that renters have more options, and more options means that it becomes more difficult for landlords to get renters in there at the same prices that they had in the past. And so predominantly PMC manages properties that are away from those areas with a lot of supply, which is still great news for our owners. In the past couple months, we had some of our best ever quarters and months for leasing activity. We were consistently placing tenants in less than 10 days in our properties. And so that really kind of validates some of what we've been seeing of, tenants are still looking to be away from the downtown areas. Those attractions and amenities aren't fully up and functioning now, and so they want to be in a little bit bigger space, a little bit more removed, where it's a little bit more accessible for them to get out and walk in their backyard or something like that. In terms of eviction procedures, still awaiting further guidance on resuming the normal protocol for that, as there still very well could be further legislative guidance that would guide what we as a management company are able to do at this point in time. As we as a team continue to navigate these unprecedented times in managing properties in the greater Nashville area, we still believe in the strong fundamentals of what it has made Nashville a great place to invest for owners and for tenants to live, and for us to continue to do life here. And obviously we're going through unforeseen and unprecedented times, but still are very positive and optimistic about what the future holds for Nashville, for property owners, and for tenants to have a great place to live. If you want to discuss more in specific about the recent updates and changes, don't hesitate in reaching out to us as a team. We'd love to assist you in any way that we can. Thanks.